Hi everyone, welcome back to the Red Zone's coverage of the regional qualifiers for Pro Tour Honolulu. Again, I'm Jera Legao.
And I'm Miguel Leg. This is round 3. We're featuring Haudy Fusta from Indonesia up against Irwin Arogo from the Philippines.
And that's Irwin on the right.
Okay, so their decks. Haudy Fusta is on RG Ramp, while Irwin Arogo is playing Bant Company.
Alright? And in case you haven't noticed yet, everyone's playing Bant.
Oh yeah, this event I think has over 50% Bant Company.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think it's around 56% at least that's playing Bant.
Yeah, and the deck's really consistent. And I guess the mirrors are skill intensive, so all these aspiring professional Magic players are trying to be best at playing the deck.
Right. And with regard to this matchup, should be pretty straightforward. It's either Irwin gets to curve out with his band deck, or the ramp deck gets to play Causal X Return, getting rid of some of them, and possibly a turn 5 or turn 6 World Breaker. Using Causal X Return ability from the graveyard, getting rid of the creatures again. I think that's the best way for a ramp deck to beat the company deck, right?
Yeah, and but here we have Irwin starting with a Safa Spirit, so it's gonna be hard to sweep the creatures of Band if that's gonna stick around for long.
Yeah, but what you normally do as a ramp player is play Causal X Return, even trading it as a 1-for-1 early on, because what you actually want from it is getting it later with the pseudo flashback thing, the one that triggers off of casting a colorless creature, to actually sweep everything. So right now, one of the problems that could be going on right now is, well, first, we see him discarding a card to during his cleanup phase. So he did miss a land drop, and also he does not have red lands.
Yeah, and Irwin has just resolved a collected company, and he got a Tarless Tracker as well as a Nisa.
Yep, and with what's normally in the ramp decks, this band deck's gonna quickly whittle down the life total. So we still have Haudy at 18, but that's gonna go down really quick.
Yeah, and so Holly's just finishing cutting Irwin's deck so that he can draw for the turn.
I'm also not sure what he could possibly have in his hand though, because he discarded a looks like a
It looks like a Hedron Archive.
yeah, a Hedron Archive. So I mean that's a 4-drop, right?
Yeah.
So are there so he possibly has a lot of 4-drop ramp spells. That's why he just discarded that. But now he
Maybe.
plays
He says Pilgrimage,
Pilgrimage, but
and
it
it gets
gets
Spellquellered.
colored. So this is not good for him.
And so Irwin quickly counting, I think, the power of the creatures on board, and that's 4. Wait, yeah, that's. I think that was enough for lethal damage.
No, I think that he was gonna go down to 1. I think that's just 11. He was at 12. But yeah, so now we're going to game 2.
That was a quick game 1, and now that the ramp player is on the play, I think he has a decent chance here.
Yep, it's a better chance, but if he draws something like what he did earlier, that's definitely not gonna work for him.
Okay, but yeah, now he has a he has that mana for an early Kozilek's return. Ooh, and
Right.
he plays an what I believe is an Ulvenwald captive. I think he opted for this except instead of the Hedron crawler. A
Okay.
possible reason might be he just wants uh, s- a a dork that does not die to Liliana easily.
Yep. That is indeed possible, but so I'm assuming this is main deck. I mean, assuming that's a metagame call. But the problem is he's gonna be for the rest of the day. He's facing down a lot of band decks instead of like merged or what the delirium decks. But it still worked though. It works though. It's still a mana dork, so we'll see what he can come up with.
Yeah, and this dork in particular, it also has the advantage of being a mana sink late game if things don't go too well for Haudy, and yeah, he can just use all his mana for to transform the guy instead of playing other big plays from his deck.
Yeah, and he tries to replay the captive, but Irwin pointing out that the reflector mage prevents him from doing that, and he's stuck with at 5 mana again. Well, stuck again, but this time at 5 mana.
I think Irwin's contemplating on the next land drop.
It's either that or he missed lands and probably figuring if he wants to play like tireless tracker or something.
That's a Self Spirit, followed up by a Duskwatch.
Okay, so of course that play is to make sure he's safe to Costelex's return. Instead, we have a Clip Wings getting rid of the Selfless Spirit end of turn. So this way, Haudy does get to sweep the board if he has anything that can do so. And there you go. That's a Chandra.
So it's most probably a -3
Yep. And does that clearing the board?
that sweeps the Irwin's board while still having one loyalty planeswalker for Haudy.
Hmm. And Howdy's right now is in the better board state, but you're still not safe against company though. I mean, he did not play anything the previous turn with 5 mana, so that leads us to believe that everything that's in his hand would be huge spells because he just drew the land from his so well the turn before he didn't play anything, then the next turn he drew a land and played the Chandra for 6, so that means that most likely means that everything in his hands are like 7 or and above spells, and if he doesn't um top deck running lands here or ramp spells, then there's really not much he can do. He gets to take up Chandra though and attack for 6 if that's a thing. Does get a ramp spell sort of, but it does get spell colored.
Yeah, I think that might have been a bait for Spellcaller, but we'll see.
I don't think so though, because remember he didn't play anything at when he had the 5 mana up.
Yeah,
So but
yeah,
he does
yeah.
have something right now. Okay, so at least that's good. He gets to get his land and attack with the Chandra tokens for 6, but Chandra does die next turn to Spellcaller.
But then again, that's free 6 damage. While it's not too important for his deck, at least Chandra did have some.
Yeah, well,
Did,
it's a little bit of value, but like you said, it's not too important in the game. right. So we're going back to Irwin's turn. Howdy is at 8 lands though, so we
Right.
should see something quick.
So Chandra's out, and Irwin passes the turn.
Yeah, Irwin passes a turn with 6 mana and 2 cards, so we should be seeing something like Collective Company or a Spell Queller
Uh-huh.
this turn. All right, so the
Does
World
he
Breaker.
have an Ultra-Size Command or a Summary Dismissal at hand? Yes, it's a Summary
Yep,
Dismissal.
Summary Dismissal. Well, Summary Dismissal now a common card in Bant matchup because you do want to make sure you have it against Kozilek and against a ramp deck. That's really what you wanna have in hand.
Yeah, I
So
think
that
you
does
meant
mean
Emrakul,
no
though.
more creature. Yeah, I mean Emrakul. But that does mean no creatures for Irwin this turn. So it does slow down the clock a bit. And now he's
But here's an
attacking
attack for
with
5.
Lumbering Balls. Alright. So one of the problems with what he's doing is he's clearly telling Haudy that he doesn't have anything to
yeah.
counter any huge threats. He could have kept mana up. But the thing with keeping mana up, if he didn't have anything, is that I don't really think it stops Haudy from just slamming his threats. Because again, from how he played earlier, it looks like he has a lot of big things in hand. Right, and is that the Mage Ring Network?
Um,
Yeah, Irwin also reading the card.
no, I think it's a Mirror Pull.
Oh, Mirror. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Possibly.
So Mirror Pull has I think has two relevant abilities. It can either copy a creature or copy a spell that's on the stack.
Yep. And what do you do with it though?
So Reflector Mage targeting the Hydra and Spell Queller getting into the red zone. So Haudy's only down to 7.
And I'm curious why. Well, I mean, you do get the 1-up lands with the Hydra, but I'm curious as to what he has that land for. Was it like to copy a Emrakul or something? Possibly.
That's possible, but I don't think it's a good play, considering that I'm not too sure if
Oh well, right now, well, he's trying to target the Spell Queller and the Lumbering Falls with Ulamog, and Irwin should be responding with an activation, right?
yeah, it's possible that
But he doesn't.
that's because he has Spell Queller. Okay.
Oh, just the Spell Queller the Mana Dark again. Did he? Well, he didn't have mana though, right?
He did. The Lumbering Falls.
Oh, I guess he just wants to attack in the air.
Yeah.
Man, that
he
makes
does.
sense.
But
But
he is on a 2-turn clock, I guess.
yeah. But the thing is, what he could have done was activate Lumbering Falls, making it hexproof. That way he gets to attack. If he draws land the following turn, which he didn't anyway, but if he did, he gets to attack with the Lumbering Falls and the and the Reflector Mage, keeping Spell Queller up. So he does have land.
Yeah.
So if he did it that way, Howdy still goes down to 5, and he would have Spell Queller in the turn. It wouldn't have really done much, but it seemed like.
Well, I think
Would've
what
been okay.
Irwin had valued there was still having that pressure of having threat attacking for some damage, since the life total is relatively low. I think right now Haudy's life total is at 5.
Yeah, no, but what I was saying is, if he did it that way and played the land, he could have attacked with the Lumbering Falls and had mana up for the Spell Queller. So he would still put the Howdy down to 5 anyway, and have a Spell Queller up, which could have been relevant. Um, I'm not sure. It might be all the same, and Ulamog just ends up winning the game anyway.
Yeah, but this looks like an insurmountable board state for Irwin here.
Yeah, with everyone having, well, not everyone, but with creatures having reach, though, it's not gonna be that easy. So, and yeah, at this point, oh well,
Yeah.
yeah, Irwin does the scoop, and they're tied to 1-1, and looks like we're going to the third game. So, any thoughts on what you think? Like, would they be changing sideboards at this point?
They might have some on the play and on the draw strategies.
I think not much for ramp though, right? Or maybe a
Mm,
couple.
yeah, maybe a couple, like maybe board out some excess ramps on the draw,
Mhm.
so it doesn't get exiled by Spellcaller, something of that sort.
Yeah, and we see Howdy here. He's not changing the board yet. He's just looking through the deck, seeing if he changes anything. Irwin, on the other hand, is already shuffling. I think he just kept the same cards because with the Bant versus ramp matchup, you don't really change a lot of things, I guess. I mean, after sideboarding, because being on the play, being in the draw is gonna be, I think, pretty much the same. It's still you're trying. I mean, it's still that you're trying to ramp out, and as they say, bant your opponent, but just keeping up, like, if he does, I mean, if he did put them in, just keeping up the negates and summary dismissals.
Yeah, and one thing I'm curious though is, does Irwin still have Auditize command post board? I do know that in the Shadows over Innistrad metagame, it was needed because the ramp decks at that point had Dragonlord Atarka, which was also devastating to to the board state of Band Company. But now seeing as Selfless Spirit aids in those rats, I'm not too sure if Band Company still needs the auditory commands for counter spells.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you'd rather play summary dismissal at this point, but I mean, it could just be a matter of preference. All right. So we're presenting his deck, and how they almost done shuffling, and we should be on the way pretty soon.
Okay, we see Irwin having a chat with his opponent, I guess.
Yep. Maybe trying to fish out some info on what he has on the deck. Does this look like the Reduke deck? No. I mean, it's red green, but I didn't see.
I didn't see some Delirium enablers, but I think it's straight up ramp
Okay.
because I'm not too sure if Worldbreaker is in Reed Duke's Pro Tour deck.
Oh, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Okay. Well, anyway, we do get to see what they come up with. So this is the third game. Players both tied at 1 game apiece. And good news for the band player, Irwin, though. He gets to go first.
Yep. So 2 drop into Spellqueller into Company is pretty hard to beat, and I'm sure he hopes to have that kind of draw this game.
And for those not familiar with magic lingo that's floating around right now, that's what you call banting your opponent. When you have a 2-drop into Queller or Reflector Mage into Coco. So basically the 2 to 4 curve, having that having that complete curve, that's what we call banting.
All right, both players looking at their starting seven.
Looks like Irwin not too happy, but does decide to keep. Howdy also keeps. All right.
We're underway. Evolving Wilds is the first land for Irwin, and Haudy does have a tapped land as well
That's a
in the form of Cinderglade. All right, turn 2. Are we seeing a 2-drop?
But for this match though, it doesn't really matter if there's a 2-drop though, right? As long as Irwin hits the rest of the curve, but he does play untapped land, which means it is that we are gonna see some action.
Yeah, while it's not too important to have that 2-drop, it's still beneficial to have early pressure.
Yeah, well, it's always beneficial to have an attacker in play, regardless of what you're playing and what you're playing against. Oh, and Howdy accidentally dropping Dragon Lord Atarka from hand.
Yeah, so that's exactly what the fear was.
Yeah, and
EMN.
that's actually very valuable information there.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you know that thing's gonna drop once he reaches 7 mana, and that might actually cost him the game. So when you play this game, regardless of you trying to play fast or whatnot, you do need to be mindful of what you're doing. I mean, that was very careless of him. But that was really not necessary. I mean, it's
It
just,
was an unfortunate accident.
yeah. But him accidentally dropping a land would have been not as bad, but that Atarka. Okay, so Irwin trying to flip the recruiter.
Jeez, I think he missed another land drop.
Did he?
Did he? Oh no.
No, that was
Yeah.
he was signaling for Irwin too, because Irwin called the trigger for
Oh,
Flip
okay,
Squatch,
okay.
and he considered responding but opted not to.
So here's a Nisa's Pilgrimage, which will instantly get spell colored.
All right, so we're halfway. We're 2/3 of the way to banting the opponent, as as we call it. So we'll see.
Right, that's a 5 powered attack, and Haudy's gonna take all of it, I suppose.
Yeah, and Howdy probably not caught off guard with the spell queller.
Yeah,
um,
since
coming out of 2 mana because of the howler.
yeah, and now the follow-up play was a Sylvan Advocate from Irwin.
Very efficiently costed Sylvan Advocate at the moment, 1 mana.
So now that Haudy's experienced the Spell Queller on 2 mana, would he expect having a second one?
I think it's possible, but either way, you just run your spell into
Yeah.
it. I mean, because what can you do? Do you just not play anything? I don't think that's an option.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's still also it's also the best play for Irwin either way. I mean, he could cast another creature, maybe a Selfless Spirit, but and flip
And
back
there's the other Spell
Oh, there you
Queller.
go.
Yeah, I think this game is close to its conclusion.
Yep, and as I was saying earlier, I mean, there's really no other play for Irwin, because you don't play anything else either way, right? I mean, you don't want to flip the squash back to the front side. So this turn he can though. He does play Selfless Spirit, just making sure that his creatures are safe and attacking for 1,000,000 damage and right and playing Howdy down to almost nothing. With him also, I mean, with Irwin also in 1,000,000 lives, so this should be game. And
Yep.
there you go, that's the handshake. And Irwin Arogo now, I believe, 3-0.
Yep. And Bant Coco is 2-0 in our feature match.
All right, we'll see you in round 4.